Alright, next thing we have to do is deal with this dial. This is the original dial for the Banjo Clock. It's silvered, but it's kind of in bad shape, all scratched up in some places, as you can see. So I really need to resilver this and redo the dial. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put it into my printer scanner, and I'm going to scan this into a file. I'll come over here and I'll take the dial and put it face down here, and like so, and then I'm just going to scan this, and I'm going to scan it to a file. So I gotta take my glass off so I can see. Scan the computer, and we'll start the scan. Okay, I'm going to save it as a JPEG. There's our scan. It's been saved to my computer. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that, and I don't have any other photo editing software. A lot of you can probably tell me what I should be using, but I'm going to use what I got. And what I'm going to do, it's in my documents, and it's scan one JPEG. Okay, so I'll go to, I've got Paint open, Microsoft Paint, and I can't see here, and I'll open, go to open, and here, okay. Okay, there we are. Alright. Right now we have this into Paint, and what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to go around and with Paint, like say I'm going to work on this. I've just got to make a file that's nice and clean with a clear background, completely white background, and redo all of this. So I can take this and I can zoom in on this until I get down to the pixel level. Let me get this up here. That's as big as I can get it. And then I can just manually start to redo this. And by outlining, that's as close as I can get. But I can outline by just well, first thing I want to do probably is outline it in white. So I'll take the line and choose the white color, choose the size, and probably go with just 2. I can start by going here and dragging across. Okay, it's not quite where I want it. Like so. And drag a line down here, and it'll be pixelated on some of these lines, but I'll just continue to outline all of this stuff, and then I can go back here, go inside, get all of this outlined to the right size. Let's do this quickly. And it'll take a while, but I'll get this all done. Then I can take colors and I can fill in here with the black. And we'll fill it all in. We'll have it this way, and it looks very jagged. But when you come back out, zoom back out to Let's see where it's at. Like about this. It's not going to be noticeable. The real work is going to come down here when I have to do something with these letters. And let's see what it looks like at that point.
800-630-8900. 800-630-8900. That's 800-630-8900. That keeps data safe online and in the cloud. So this hospital's patients can be sure that their private information stays in the right hands. California Governor Gavin Newsom says the Golden State is going to boycott Walgreens after the pharmacy chain reported that it would not sell abortion pills in at least 20 Republican-led states.
Is dedicated to this and is doing the work that we're actually seeing at the border, again, when we think about fentanyl.
But the violence aspect of it, now Americans are being slaughtered. Would President Biden be taking...
There's the safety of Americans. The president's always going to make sure that that is a top priority.
Would President Biden ever consider using the U.S. military to disrupt cartel operations?
I'm just not going to get into
fleshing out a national conversation about this, acknowledging it's a real and persistent problem. More than
every single week, he is dishonestly asking people to rather access. It's a cult of wokeness. You know, you just did the story, John, of Governor Gavin Newsom.
I saw Balance of Nature on television commercials, and as I said,
forget to use discount code Fox News.
We're here today right outside Colorado Springs to welcome home BT and his family here in a beautiful small home that the Thomas the Tower Foundation has just
Tenuous connection with Buster, but as we all know, evidence is on
Super Beta Prostate is the #1 urologist recommended prostate supplement. And now you can find it in every Walmart nationwide. Don't ignore your prostate health. Get Super Beta Prostate.
We're going to continue to bring people in, build the case, and this is again another example where they changed the way they...
once we from Mount Jaro. Mount Jaro.
Okay, after a number of hours, this is what I come up with. And it's still much bigger than the actual dial. But the lettering looks good. I mean, you can't believe what that looks like when you actually zoom in on it. At the pixel level, it looks horrible. But at this level, it looks pretty good. So there's the reconstructed dial. And now all I got to do is print that. And send this to the printer and print it out. Alright, now here's one option that I have for making a dial. Is I had some package of silver paper, so I could actually print it out on a silver paper, cut this out and just use it as a paper dial. But that's one option that I can keep back if everything else doesn't work. I don't prefer to do this. What I'd really prefer to do would be to use a printout. And I have a printout in white, like this. Printed it out in white. And then use this to, there's a kit that I bought where I can actually make a silk screen. And you'd print this, in other words, take this file and I'll print it out on a transparency. So only the letters are on a piece of transparent paper, plastic, a transparency page. And then use that transparency to use some silk screen, photosensitive paper to make a silk screen, and then actually silk screen the numbers onto the dial with silk screen ink, which I have. I used to do some silk screening. But the problem with the stuff that you get is it doesn't show up real fine detail, and I'm afraid the letters won't come out real clear because that's pretty small. I don't know if that'll end up clear enough to make a nice dial. The other option then is, and I'm getting some, they'll be delivered tomorrow, is some water slide decal paper. And in other words, I'll take this file then and print it just as I did on the on that silver and on this paper here. Print those numbers onto a decal. And once they're on a decal, I'll take this dial, and I can take this dial, and I'm going to sand all of that off, real fine wet sandpaper. Take this down to bare brass, and then I have some silvering powder. Resilver the dial so that it's nice and, you know, perfect silvering on it, and then put the water slide decal on it to make the final dial. And I think that's probably the option I'll use. And then we can spray it with a matte spray to protect the decal, and that'll make it as close to original as it can possibly be, I think. I'll do that. Okay, now we're going to attempt to resilver this. The first thing we've got to do is we've got to remove all of the what's here now. This is so scratched up that I don't think I can resilver this without taking it down to complete brass. So I'm going to use I think it's 400 grit wet or dry sandpaper, and we're going to sand this all down and get it down to brass, and then we're going to use silvering powder kit to bring it back to silvered background. I'm going to take silver and powder and start going over this. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. A nice silver to it. There's some little blotches in it, but you know what? Gives it an antique look. Now this is ready to put the decal on, and we'll go make the decal. This is the kit that I used for the silvering. It's from Time Savers. Powder number 1, powder number 2. I say when you're not using them, keep them in a box out of light because they'll deteriorate over time. Okay, this is now printed out on water slide decal paper. It's clear. Wherever it's white, it's going to be clear. And I've got to seal this now with some clear acrylic spray, and I'm going to wait until tomorrow to do that. I need to put like 3 coats on it, and tomorrow it's kind of going to go up into the 50s. It's been below freezing here, and get into the 50s so I can spray this outside. I want to spray that clear spray inside. It's pretty powerful stuff, so we'll spray this tomorrow, 2-3 coats, and then we'll apply the decal, cut the decal out, apply it to the silvered dial. Alright, this is what I'm using for my final step on the decal. I've already put one spray coating on. I'm going to put a second coat on. I'm doing this outside. Today's the first day we've had in the last week. It's been above freezing. It's supposed to be in the 50s. So I'm going to take advantage of the nice weather and spray this outside, and I'll let it sit out here to dry so I don't have those volatile organic solvents and VOCs in the house. So we've shaken this up. Now we will spray a second coat on this. And now we will clear that. And I'm going then to set this over here where it can now dry and not blow away. I'll let that dry, and now it's got 2 good coats on it. We'll let that set, dry, and then we'll be ready to use it. Okay, gonna give this a shot. Here's our silver dial. Here's our decal. We'll put it in hot water. And we're going to let it sit for 30 seconds or so. We're going to see what we got. See where those circles are. Pull that over there. Position this thing. Supposed to be able to use this now as a this a little bit. plug in a hairdryer. Let's see if we can't get that drying. Okay, let's take a look at this. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. What I used was dots for these three and a mark at the top for the 12. We've got a silver dial now. I'm going to let this dry at least for 24 hours, and then we'll think about putting it into the bezel and put it into the clock. Okay, I'm making some little clips to solder in here, and those will overlap the back of the dial to hold it against the bezel. So I need probably about 6 of those. I got 2. What's mark those off. What width did I give these things? Okay, I'm making some clips now to hold the glass in. Make these so that two little tabs can be bent down to hold them in. And we'll roll the edge of that. Anyway, we'll roll this bottom edge, fit down in the flat. I'll curve that around so that fits. Down in there. So what I'm doing is I have a little thing called a nibbler here, and I'm going to, there's a little cutting die right here, and the way it works is you put the metal in there and you just squeeze and it cuts a little notch. So if I put this in right in the middle, I cut a notch, and I cut a little deeper. 2 notches deep seems to be about right. Those would be real easy to bend. Let's see. Make those. Right there. Take my shears. Straight across. There's 2 little tabs, and then just take a pair of these, roll it just a bit. And that will fit right in there, and that should work. And I'm gonna roll this one edge a little bit. In there like that. And I'll bend over. Okay, we'll make 6 of those. Here's the solder I'm using. Here's what I'm using for the flux. And there's my little torch. And take a little flux and put it right here where I want, wherever I want the stuff to flow. Take one of the tabs. Put some flux on it. Okay, then I need to take a piece of solder that I've already smashed with a hammer. Okay, take my torch. Heat the copper, heat the piece, place, take the heat away. Done. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 tabs to hold the glass in. Okay. Now I get the clips for the dial in, and these will pull forward, and when I put the dial in, I'm not gonna solder them to the back of the dial like normally would be done. I'm gonna use some epoxy to do it because I don't want to take the chance on damaging that decal. Okay, a little bit of epoxy that I left here just so I can test to see if it's hard, so I know that this is done now. Okay, and that should put the dial on then. That's what the dial is going to look like. Not bad. And all we got to do now is got to put the glass in. Okay, glass is in. All we got to do now is to bend these tabs down, and we'll be in business. And I think I'll use a block of wood to do that. Tabs down so they don't interfere with anything else. Okay. Okay. Glass is installed. Looks good. And now that's ready to go back on the case. That's how she looks. Not bad. Looks pretty good.